Hello again. This is Wedding Pros Unplugged. I lost my notes here. Uh, it's really unplugged and raw. I'm Kim Chapman Dion of Kim Chapman Photography,
And I'm Misty Coolidge, owner of Coolidge Family Farm, Coolidge Chapel, and main mixologist.
and we're here to talk about all things weddings and help the brides and grooms getting married. Um, so today we're talking about venues, and how do you choose a venue? What questions do you ask? And Misty is a venue owner. We're going to have other venue owners on here too. Um, but my first question for you is what should couples, what's included in your venue? Because I know that some venues are just a blank slate,
Mhm.
but yours definitely is not. So how does that compare to other venues? Or how does that work?
So yeah, I own Coolidge Family Farm in Upper Village, New Gloucester. I'm a one-stop shop type of venue, but there's all types of venues out there, and couples when they're touring around should really look at what's your vision for your day. Do you want something more formal? Do you want something more relaxed? Do you want something really relaxed with like a field somewhere? So there's all types of venues. So really figure out as a couple when you're starting this process, the venue is the first thing you're going to book because you need to have your date. But before that, it's about budget and what's your head count, because everywhere you go, they're going to ask you those questions. They're going to say, what is what head count are you working with? And if you have no idea, then maybe that venue won't even fit your needs. So kind of having those two things known in advance. And it doesn't have to be anything formal, because I really think that when you fall in love with a place, you kind of make your budget work within reason. Obviously, you're not going to choose something that's $10,000 over your budget. But do have parents that are helping you. I think that's a key part too. Where are those finances coming from? I know personally, when my husband and I got married, we decided, this was 10 years ago, what we decided what our budget was, and we ended up going over a little bit, but that's okay because we made those decisions together. But I think as far as a venue is concerned, that's the first thing you go to. You need to pick your date first and foremost. Things you look for. So do you want to bring in everybody yourself and do it more DIY? Do you want to go to a venue that has everything there for you? It's that does budget does play a part in that for sure. My venue has I'm an officiant, so I can marry them. I'm their wedding planner should they choose to hire me to do that. I have bar service on site, and I don't make them hire me. So I know some venues make them hire that caterer and that bar service. Again, that's up to you whether you want to go that route or do you want to customize things that you want. And definitely check the prices on things too, because I know there's some venues that start out lower price to kind of to get you in there, and then their food costs and their bar costs might be a lot. It might put you over budget. So those are all things to really think about. With the venue, is trash included? That's a big question. Do you have to haul your own trash away? Weddings create a lot of trash, so having a dumpster on site is important. And if the venue doesn't have one, maybe you can rent one and bring one in. That's a really great tip. Um, and then hours, how late do you want to rock and roll on your wedding night? If your venue is residentially zoned, which means surrounded by other homes and it's in a neighborhood, then they're going to be residentially zoned and they're controlled by their neighbors. So you may have a 9 o'clock end time, you may have a 10 o'clock end
Good
time.
point.
Yep. And so if you're and also setting your late time is your sunset. Like photography, as Kim knows, the sun is everything. So I toured with a couple yesterday that want it's a late fall wedding, but we talked about the sunset. Even though they want to party till 11 p.m., you normal reception is 5 to 6 hours. So if you're starting later, it's all on a pendulum. So if your sun sets earlier, then you're going to need to start earlier to get that ceremony out of the way, to get your photos, to get your cocktail hour, which are usually outside. So those are all things that are going to want to happen
Is
when
the
you've got
cutoff
your
time there
great sun.
11? Your music?
My end time's 11.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most venues are 10.
Yes. And only because I being in this industry for so long, like I'm commercially zoned, so that makes me different. So I don't, the neighbors aren't, don't control me.
Mhm.
They had their opportunity to voice any concerns about me opening a venue before I opened. And now, um, that's the time that I chose. But a lot of my couples will choose 10 o'clock because, and it's a 4 to 10 reception. So they're
They have
getting
things
married
to
at three.
do.
They have, and it's planning a wedding is so much work. And at the end of the night, they are exhausted. They are wiped. And I've had
Really are
couples,
because they don't sleep the night before ever.
well,
The
you're not sleeping for a year. You're planning a wedding. You've got, your bachelorette party, your bachelor party. You've got
Mhm.
your showers. You've got your dress shopping. You've got all of the things that will pull all your family and friends together. And it's a lot of work, but it's so much fun. It should be fun. And I know my goal with being the built-in wedding planner at my venue, is to eliminate stress. I don't want my couples to be stressed out. I've culminated a team of professionals that you're on my preferred vendor list. That all of these couples have a great team already assembled for them to eliminate their stress, which is really great. Also, the other thing too is the venue seasonal. Is it year round? Are you looking for a winter wedding? There's not very many winter wedding venues out there.
Very true.
Um, that's a good point
I've
to
done a
start looking
winter
at
wedding at her venue and it was gorgeous.
in December. There's not very many heated barns out there, so definitely do your research on that. Do you want an ocean view? Do you want a lake view? Do you want a mountain view? Those are all great scenery to be able to shoot, but they also come with a higher price point. So if you had a smaller budget, then maybe you can't afford the extra 10,000 that it might be to get married on the ocean or the lake or up on the mountainside. And then also those venues are, especially getting married on a mountain, like a lot of your vendors are going to charge you extra travel fees to get there. Things to think about. Like I know with my bar service, I have all of the ice carried here so that my couples aren't going to be incurred the cost of traveling to the middle of nowhere with their ice and getting that fee. So there's lots of things to think about as
So
far as
many things.
venues concerned.
So many little
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then like
I
and
think
then rentals too is another thing too, Kim, is that a lot of couples, you've got to bring in everything. So as your caterer, do they need a cook tent? You need to bring in tables and chairs into your venue. You need to rent those that you're talking, $1,000 or two on renting tables and chairs. Do you need to bring in an arbor? Do you need to bring in wedding benches? There's lots of little things that add up and
and a lot
having
of
a
people like
rental.
those little conversation corners with couches and chairs and I've seen her
Right.
inventory.
So some venues have rentals, some do not. And what are they charging for those rentals? Hopefully it's to save you money, as opposed to going out and buying things. So there's lots of little things to think about as far as choosing your venue. Make a list of what's important to you. Look, and with a budget and concern, like I've had people, choose me because I'm easy, but I've had people not choose me because they wanted a lake or they wanted a golf course, and that's okay. I think that every couple has a vision of what they want for their day. Um, so you have to go with what and follow your heart, but also keep your budget in mind. It's a balance for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's priceless that you are family owned, that you own it, and it's your passion, it's your baby, and God, you do everything. But I did have a question. Is it possible to get your venue blank slate without anything included? That would probably drive you nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I let couples do pretty much, if they like, for example, I have a wedding this summer that they're not hiring me to be their planner. They have a best friend that's a wedding planner, and she owns a business. She has insurance. That's the other thing too, is that you got to make sure people you hire, they need to have insurance.
Yeah,
So that's really important. And
really.
it's okay. So I will be there as the property manager. Just to make sure, if a fuse pops or if I need to help with the vendor, anything property related, I'll be there for. And that's okay. They had a friend that owns a business, and that's okay. I'll take a step back and definitely play a lighter role. I have my preferred vendor list, but couples don't have to use it. It's all a la carte,
Mhm.
based on their vision and their budget.
But if you want a
And
seamless wedding, you want those.
well, and that's the point too, is that a lot of couples will say, I've got my best friend that referred this DJ, and it's like, well, that's wonderful. You get a diamond on your hand, and your family and friends are like, you've got to hire this person, you've got to hire this person. But
They don't
when
know.
you really think about it, that person only saw that person perform once, and they were great. As a venue owner, I've seen my preferred vendors and many others
Over and over.
perform well many, 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 many times, and they're always superior. So taking your referral from your venue owner or your wedding planner is key because they know the
Really is.
professionals. It's really important.
Especially,
Um,
I've got to say, I think, especially the music, especially the DJ or the band, because you need to ha know how to make a wedding flow. And if the DJ doesn't, it's about timing and reading the crowd. And for the reception anyway, I think that's super important. Not to have an iPod, iPod wedding, or, go with a cheap neighbor or something. It's just, I've seen, you know, horror stories.
Yeah, and I've had people try to do those things. So I've had a couple couples in the past 10 years that wanted to do their own music. I have one this summer actually that's, leaning that way. But they also want to have a morning wedding. So I don't think it's going to be a lot of
Oh,
dancing
right.
anyway. So
Yeah.
it's very different. Oh, there goes my phone. Talk about unplugged. Um, um, so, as far as that's concerned, I've had a couple people that wanted to do their own music, and neither one worked because that person had too much to drink, or the speaker wasn't working right, or they had to haul it from place to place to place because you've got your ceremony location, you got your
Oh
cocktail
my
hour
God. They didn't
location,
have three different
that's your
setups.
barn. So there's all little things to keep in mind. So I'll work with my couples on all of those tips and tricks. I want to make sure that if they've made that decision, that's great, but how do I prevent as a wedding planner the mistakes? Like, how do I want to make sure that the thing that they've chosen works out for them perfectly? And for me, it's a reflection on the venue, it's a reflection on them. We want to make sure their day is as perfect as possible, but that's also where your wedding planner comes in to ensure success.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's those
so.
little things that the couples don't think about, like, oh, well, we want the DJ for the ceremony. We want, I got to upgrade this stupid thing. We want the DJ for the ceremony, we want the DJ for cocktail hour, and we want the DJ for the reception. Um, you need different setups. You can't possibly drag that. You're going to have major dead time. Little things like that.
Mhm.
Um, that a planner or a passionate venue owner like you, um, you know, will think of,
Exactly.
and all the
Um,
professional vendors too.
Well, and then also experience plays a role in that too. I mean, every venue owner will learn, whether you're brand new out of the box or you've been in business for 15 years. We've all been there. We've all learned. As a couple, are you okay with a venue that's learning? And that's okay too. Especially if you're a type A person and you've got control of that day and you're going to take charge and you know what you want. Or you're really hard at making decisions and you want somebody to help guide you. Every person is so different in what they're looking for.
For
And
sure.
my goal as a venue owner is to make sure you find a place that feels like you're at home. It may not be my place. It may not, and that's
It
okay.
is your
Um,
place. Home.
I want it to be. Obviously, I would love to marry everybody because I know the experience that I provide being a hands-on owner. But maybe a couple is not going to want to have somebody that's like that too. So everybody is so different.
Mhm.
If you don't want, that at all, then you're going to find somewhere else. You're going to find something that's blanket it's a clean slate. You can bring in your tables, you can bring in your chairs, you can bring in everybody that you want, and go that route. Um, yeah, it's
Experience and passion, that's the key. And I do
experience.
have experience working at her venue, and it really is like no other venue I've ever been to, really.
Aw,
I mean,
don't
because
make me
you
cry.
you really, really dot all your I's and cross all your T's. You really do. And I mean, not that there aren't really a lot of other venue owners. Well, there's one in York, um,
That are, you mean on site for their day? Like
on
it's
site for
more
the
like
day.
property management run.
Us there's venue owners, but um, I rarely see the venue owners. It's always
Mhm.
other planners, and they step away and let everybody else take charge.
And that's true because a lot of venue owners aren't previous wedding planners like me. So
Hmm.
they bought a venue, this is going to be fun and they're wonderful. And being part of the wedding venue cooperative, all of us belong to groups that are for our industry. So I know most of the other venue owners. I love them. They're amazing. And we all work together to help support each other and help, grow the industry and how can we share open dates with each other, which is really great. It's
Yeah.
not a competition. It's about how do we help each other succeed? Again, what you said before about being in Maine. I love that fact. I think it's really special what we have here.
It's like a
But choose
family. We're a
it
family.
is a family, it is. And choosing a venue that has a built-in planner, because I've been a planning planner for 16 years, is really important. I can be as involved or I can take a step back. There's some couples that text me once a week, but I have some couples that I hear from once every 6 months, and that's totally fine. I'll check in, how's it going? They'll be like, it's going great, excellent. If you need me, I'm here. So it's really up to your
I
style.
really love that you were a planner, because that took you to other venues. A lot of venues
Mhm.
that I go to, I've never seen a wedding at other venues. And of course,
Yeah.
the photography does, the music does, the caterers do. So we know how it's run, the different ways that people run it.
Mhm.
And some venues just, um, they run it their way and that's it. And that's okay, I guess. But it just gives you experience, and
Mhm.
you have a
It's
ton. Experience is key. So
Yeah, I've been marrying people at other venues for almost 30 years. So I've been to venues where they have bees and I've gotten stung. I've been to walking through pastures and stepped in cow stuff. I've been to city weddings. I've been all over as an ordained minister. I can travel across the country and marry people. So I have that experience too. I used to work for a caterer. I used to work for Black Tie for many years,
hmm
serving food. So I know timing. I know catering. I mean, I'm not a professional at it. You leave that to the caterers. Um, but I've served food, so in seeing a caterer operate at my venue, I know timing and I can help and I can serve plates if I need to. I can
Yeah,
jump in and
I could
help, which
too.
I love helping.
Me
As a
too.
bartender, I Black Tie taught me how to bartend,
Right.
25 years ago. And I
That's
saw the
that's
need up.
really, really interesting. I never thought of that before. You have all this hands-on experience.
Yeah,
So,
and I love making cocktails. I can make a mean old fashioned. I can hop behind the bar if there's a rush at my venue and what can I get for you? What can I get for you?
right,
What do you need?
exactly.
I can do all of the drinks. I know how to do all of that. So I
hmm
can help my bartenders out. And then they also don't need to have a busser at at my place because as the wedding planner, I pay for my own assistant to be with me. And then we can help bus tables. We can, we're there for the overall big picture. Whereas some planners that you hire won't clear empties. They stay in their own lane, and that's okay. But I'm not that way.
Well,
I'm
it's
a
because it's
team.
your venue.
It is. I take
I
pride
don't
in
want it to.
the
You don't
weddings
want
that
to wake up
happen
to a
there,
mess. Mm.
and I want to help them. Like I don't want them to wake up in the morning at 8 o'clock the next morning and be hungover and look at the mess that they have to
Oh my
clean.
God, I forgot. You have cabins. That's right.
Yeah, I have two
Has it
houses, three
all.
cottages. I'm definitely
Are
I'm
you
the
also the
opposite.
maid?
No, I hire for that, but I do help. And I go around after my cleaners leave to double check everything
hmm
because I always find little things here and there. And I take pride in my space. So, I mean, there's still things like you might find a fly on the windowsill somewhere, like it's not going to be perfect. It's a farmhouse every single time, it's
Mm.
not white glove, but
It's not a
it's awesome.
ballroom. It's not a ballroom wedding.
Right. There might be a spider web on the porch, and that's okay. They live there too.
I love that. Wow. Yeah, so we're gonna have other venue owners on here, which I think will be amazing. Um, and she's looking at the clock. You're looking at the clock. What do you
No,
have going on?
my oil delivery people just got here, so you're gonna hear
Oh,
some beeping in a minute.
uh, all right. Well, I mean, I think that's great. You pretty much covered it all. And we can go into the weeds on certain. We've found that there's just so much to talk about. Like we could do a whole episode on the bar, you know,
Mhm.
on the
Yep, we
bar
can do that. Yep, we can definitely do that.
or
But if
insurance. Every vendor, and that's one thing that I think a lot of couples don't understand when they're hiring their friends. They need
Mhm.
$1 million liability insurance
Mhm.
policy. Um,
Yeah.
and a lot of them aren't gonna, they don't know. They just don't know. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Right. And a lot of things like your venue, as far as like location is important. You want to be in the middle of nowhere. Do you want to be visible? And so your guests aren't going to get lost getting there. Do you want to canoe at your wedding? Do you want to be on a river? There's so many things to
A
think about.
canoe.
Yeah, I had a wedding that a couple chose to get married at a campground because they wanted to go canoeing and kayaking with their guests, and that's wonderful. I'm not a cabin cot type person, so that's not my vibe.
You're not a campground.
Um,
I actually,
although my bar service goes to lots of campgrounds,
right,
so
right.
I think
Yeah, I go to
it's
lots of
wonderful. It's
campgrounds.
wonderful. I think every couple is going to find their vibe, and that's really important. Find your home for your weekend,
For sure.
and also get your planner involved too. If you have a wedding, if you have once you find your venue that you kind of think you're leaning into, maybe talk to a planner. Post on one of those main brides to be sites, like, "Hey, I'm thinking about booking this venue. Anybody out there booked them before? Do you have any feedback? Are there any planners that have worked there? Any tips that you can give me for this venue?" You're going to get all the information you need because people love to share.
Mhm.
So lots of tips. Like I chose my wedding day around my hair and makeup person,
Oh,
not
you know what?
not around my venue
I
availability.
forgot
It
to
was my
I forgot to
makeup.
upgrade my thing here. So this is going to end even if we don't want it to. So hey, next time, there's
Yes.
way more to dive into. So
And we'll have
love
other
it.
venue owners on here. So we'll all share our feedback and how what makes us different, which is
Yeah.
really important for couples out there and making their venue selection. So choose a place that you find that you feel at home at. That's my best advice.
Yeah, this is gonna conk out on us. All right, Misty Coolidge, Coolidge Family Farm. More to come.